not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna do something that's only gonna benefit Black people. No.
Negroes, do your duty.
I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna do something that's only gonna benefit Black people. No.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Boy, it seems like I just cut this thing off. And actually I kind of did. Shout out to my brother Freeway Dread for coming through last night. We had a discussion. We had a real discussion out here. Let me bring the slide up here. We got to talking last night about Tulsa. And one of the things that we wanted to do is we wanted to kind of expand the conversation from the parameters where it's been before. So, you know, we cooked in here about 3 hours last night, and just had a lot of good build, great chat room. So for everybody that checked it out last night, that was great. If you have not checked it out, most of you haven't, check it out. Great conversation with the brother Freeway Dread. He's all the way down at the bottom down there in Florida, and he was set up for the night. Has got off the road, so he's moving now. So hopefully he's able to check this in. But once again, good brother, I appreciate you when you do check this out. It was a great build. People complimented me on it. Got a couple texts right afterwards like, man, you need to have him back. And I definitely will have you back on the Villager on Deck. But this morning we got some other things to talk about. And it is what it is. At this point, we are literally surviving Obama. Okay. We are surviving Obama because just like many of you, I literally drank the Obama Kool-Aid. You know, back in 2008, when there was an opportunity for our first Black president, like realistic opportunity, he's so realistic, he was the nominee. I was rocking with him. And I was drinking the Kool-Aid. You know, he came across real solid. He was a Black man. He had a Black wife. He had Black children. He was from Chicago. That's all I really knew. I didn't know his politics. I didn't know exactly what his thoughts were. I didn't know his upbringing. Didn't really care. I bought into the image. Good morning, Frida. How you doing? I bought into the image that he was portraying, and I had no problem with buying into it because it was time. It was time for us to have representation in the White House. It was time for us to have somebody represent us in the White House. And what we got representation, kind of. But we didn't get someone who represented us. But I'm not going to go through the long story of his politics today. I am honed in on one specific situation. And when Barack Obama got in office, he started an initiative called My Brother's Keeper. My Brother's Keeper. And we've heard this term for years in Blackdom, Black America. And My Brother's Keeper is a catchphrase. Now, I put My Sister's Keeper over there because I found this image and I was like, okay, because I got something for Shelly O too. But we're going to really concentrate on Shelly O's husband, Barack Hussein Obama, because he put in play My Brother's Keeper. And My Brother's Keeper, like I said, it was an initiative that he put in play when he got into office. And I saw what a lot of people saw. I saw somebody who was very, very well-spoken. He literally had memorized, and I have to say, he memorized. He was well-rehearsed on Blackdom. And he was in and out of Black churches. He was in and out of Black communities. He made sure that he got who he needed as his warm market, and his warm market was Black America. He was indeed going to have a contingency of non-Black people vote for him because they were going to be Democrats. And he was also going to be speaking their language. And for the white liberals who really wanted to see Black representation, felt it was about time, they was going to rock with him, no doubt, no doubt. So my situation is My Brother's Keeper today, because I'm going to go all the way back to when My Brother's Keeper started, and I'm going to bring it all the way up to where My Brother's Keeper is today. We're not going to be in here all morning because I got some things I got to do, but what we're going to do is we're going to start right where Barack Obama was when he got in play with My Brother's Keeper. Now, he's got power now. He's the president of the United States, the 44th. Everybody talks about 45, but I talk about 44. So I'm going to let this video cook all the way through so y'all can see exactly where I am now. But to know where I am now with My Brother's Keeper, you got to know where I was before with My Brother's Keeper. Because this just didn't happen over the last 12 months, 24 months, 36 months. No, I knew about My Brother's Keeper long time ago. And the way I felt about Barack Obama, all he had to do was be my brother's keeper. And he was not. He had one job.
Negroes, do your duty.
And he did not do that.
I first met Christian about a year ago. I visited the Hyde Park Academy in Chicago, which is only about a mile from my house. And Christian was part of this program called Becoming a Man. And it helps young men who show a lot of potential, but may have gotten in some trouble to stay on the right path. They get help with schoolwork, but they also learn life skills, and it works.
When he came into our BAM circle, it was one of the greatest experiences of my life. Most people do not get to meet him, or if they do, it's just a handshake. He sat down with us and shared his story. And to my surprise, he was just like me, growing up without a father, and sometimes not too concerned with school.
I could see myself in these young men. And the only difference is that I grew up in an environment that was a little bit more forgiving. I told these young men my story then, and I repeat it now because I firmly believe that every child deserves the same chances that I had. And that's why we're here today. I'm going to pen this presidential memorandum to determine what we can do right now to improve the odds for boys and young men of color. And we're committed to building on what works. And we call it My Brother's Keeper.
President Obama decided to get the private sector, the public sector, these foundations, all these great individuals, entrepreneurs, get them all involved to make sure that we can have these young men go on and be successful in life. And this one here is really key for America, not just the Black and brown community, but for America. It will improve America.
It's important to have resources and programs like this because it will help younger kids to motivate them. Like if they're failing grades, just to keep trying and just pursue your dreams and never give up.
The community is not always that bad. It's bad because people get shot and killed. And that's all that you hear about it, but you really don't hear about YG or BAM because this is low cap. You know, it's not publicized like, oh, it's a big thing. But now what Barack Obama is doing with My Brother's Initiative is blowing that up. Say it is some good coming out of the south side of Chicago.
So that got people. That pulled at the heartstrings of America, not just Black America, but America as a whole. We got a Black president, and he says he's going to put into play something that is going to help young Black boys. Now, I know he used the term young boys of color because he had to use that. As the president, that was the rehearsed slang that he had to rehearse, that he had to use. He had to say Black and brown. Now, I don't know why Irvin said it, because Irvin didn't know nothing about no Black and brown. Irvin grew up in Lansing. They didn't say Black and brown in Lansing. They didn't say Black and brown when he went to Michigan State. They didn't say Black and brown when he played for the Lakers. But because Irvin is now a part of the establishment, and that's why you go get the celebrity. You go get somebody who's made it one way, and Irvin made it another way. Irvin was a great basketball player. Irvin became an ambassador for HIV. Now Irvin is a billionaire CEO, partner of multiple sports teams and franchises and things like that. So you go get Irvin, because Irvin is now a part of Black America that we can be proud of. He didn't go get Diddy. He didn't go get Jay-Z. He didn't go get Beyonce. He went and got Irvin. He went and got somebody that the kids could really, really look up to. Now, he did go get Jay-Z later. He did go get Diddy later. He did go get Beyonce later, but he got Irvin at the beginning because he knew Irvin was going to come in and he was going to stick to the script. And before I get cooking too much in this, I want y'all to know I was there too. I believed in My Brother's Keeper. And I'm going to probably say this a couple more times for the people who come in late. You know, some people come into church late and they only hear half the message and then they don't really understand what the pastor's talking about. So some people going to come in late. And we hitting about 15 minutes right now, about 12 minutes into the message after the intro. So I want to make sure that people, I don't know why I'm frozen. I don't know why I'm freezing right now. But I froze. So hopefully I'm still good out here. But one of the things I need people to understand, I am a contrarian. But at this point, I was not. I was rocking with Barack Obama. I mean, this was 9 years ago. This is 9 years ago. This is 2014. I was rocking with Barack Obama. Okay. And let me see, make sure that video, I think that video, bring that one back up again. When was that video? Boom, 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 boom. That video was done. Make sure, I want to make sure that it was 2014. Just trying to bring it back up. Yes, 2014. And I can't believe that thing doesn't have 1 million views on it. That's crazy. Oh, I'm sorry. It only got 59,000. He's got almost 1 million subscribers. I'm surprised he doesn't have 1 million subscribers. May 30th, 2014 is when they uploaded this. Okay, so this is right around the time that he started My Brother's Keeper. And around the country, people started putting together My Brother's Keeper locations. We've got one right here in Washington County. And we'll talk a little bit about that at the end of the message. So 2014, he gets this started. He's got this initiative started. He's got all the power. He's going in, you know, he's going into his last couple years of being a president. He got in 08, inaugurated in 09, then he got back in 12, inaugurated in 13. So in 14, he's in his second term. He's got his heels dug in at the White House. All right. He's got his heels dug in at the White House. So he should really be able to flex now. You got your second term in, and that's what a lot of people thought. His first term was going to be one thing, but his second term was going to be really for us. That first term was for everybody. And it was to secure the second term. So that's when he was really going to do some things for us. And we're not going to get into talking about reparations and all that, because I don't believe we ever thought that Barack Obama was going to secure reparations for descendants of enslaved people. But I'm going to advance forward because he got the first term in, and now deep into his second term, My Brother's Keeper comes in. Now, after My Brother's Keeper comes in, you know, you got to give it some time. You got to give it some time to build. Even as the president of the United States, he had to give it some time to build. And let's say halfway through, from where we were at the time, after 4 years, you would expect My Brother's Keeper to be this phenomenon in Black America. He started it in 14. So now we're at 2018. 2018. 4 years later, 2 years after he's out of the office. 45 was in there doing his thing. He was in there MAGA man. But My Brother's Keeper was still supposed to be rolling. Barack Obama didn't have to be president for My Brother's Keeper to work. Barack Obama didn't have to be president for people around the country to have their My Brother's Keeper work. It was already put in play by the first Black president of the United States. And I'm telling you, I was riding with him. I'm not even remotely ashamed to say that I believed in the brother. I will not. I am not ashamed, because I know that there were millions upon millions of people who believed in him then, and hell, there's millions of people that believe in him right now. But what I want to do is I want to advance 4 years into My Brother's Keeper. I want to advance 4 years into My Brother's Keeper. And let's just see the variance from when he started My Brother's Keeper to where it moved to 4 years later.
Four years ago, in the East Room of the White House, we launched the My Brother's Keeper initiative. It was a declaration that in a country as prosperous and dynamic as ours, we all have an obligation to lift up communities that have consistently had the odds stacked against them. It was an ambitious call to action to make sure that every boy and young man of color in this country has the opportunity to achieve their dreams. Today, this work continues as an initiative of the Obama Foundation.
This is my platform where I can make my dreams come true. It's a brotherhood. It's a support system. It's opportunity. It's life-changing. It's everything.
Now with this program, I can talk and you can hear my voice, because before I couldn't express myself the way I wanted to.
It makes total sense that now, as part of the Obama Foundation, the work of MBK continues, and it's woven into our broader work about leadership development and civic engagement.
The Obama Foundation is all about equipping, inspiring, empowering the next generation of young leaders who can solve problems. The My Brother's Keeper Alliance is about making sure no one is left behind. So the missions marry together and merge together quite nicely. If we're going to have leaders that are going to solve problems, we need leaders of all stripes, of all colors, from all communities, and we're going to do that work together.
It's something that everyone should adopt. It's something that every city should have, because it's life-changing.
I think it's very important for our stories to be told, because that same struggle that we faced, we can now reach back and pull another young brother through.
The next chapter of the My Brother's Keeper Alliance is very exciting. We're going to go deep in communities. We're going to lock arms with them, and we're going to be partners in their success. And we're going to do this work slowly, methodically, while also being urgent about the issues that our communities face.
We're going to most definitely inspire a lot of people. And that's the joy of this, seeing smiles on faces that normally won't have them.
I have always believed that the single most important task we have as a nation is to make sure our young people can go as far as their dreams and hard work will take them. This is something I will be invested in for the rest of my life, and I look forward to continuing the journey with all of you.
Negroes, do your duty.
So we saw what that was 4 years in. He started out, he brought the kids to the White House. That was a beautiful thing. And then he got out into the community. Now, Barack Obama is from Chicago. No, well, really, I think he's from Hawaii. But Barack Obama's from Chicago. But I think he's from Hawaii. Anyways, you know what I mean. We found him in Chicago. We didn't know about Barack Obama until Chicago happened. And once Chicago happened, Barack Obama happened. Okay. 4 years into My Brother's Keeper, I didn't see nothing from Chicago right then. That was all Newark, New Jersey. Now, his roots were in Chicago and Hawaii, but his roots were in Chicago. Why didn't he go back to Chicago? Because he's back in Chicago now. He's no longer president. In 2018, him and Michelle and the girls were back in Chicago, you know, jamming up traffic because everybody wanted to drive by the Obama house. Why didn't he do all of this in Chicago? And there's a lot of people that are going to have issues with me talking about Barack Obama. I get it. But like I said from the beginning, I was rocking with him. Hell, here, My Brother's Keeper, the initiative itself, not his politics, the outreach of My Brother's Keeper was still rocking with. Okay? To know that he's not even rooted in his own community anymore, although he's back living there, he's back in Chicago. penning his memoirs, Michelle penning her memoirs. But they went to Newark. All that footage was something done in Newark, New Jersey. So you're already not where you said you were. You're not playing home games, bruh. Not to say that Newark didn't need the help. Not to say that Newark didn't need the shot in the arm. But what kind of shot in the arm are you giving us? Were you giving us an immunization, a vaccination, or a hot dose? See, there was a problem that I had with him leaving his roots, just like I got a problem with me leaving my roots, just like I got problems with other people leaving their roots. Play home games first. You have a better chance of winning when you play home games. But when you try to just go win by playing away games, you in foreign elements, you got foreign crowds, you got the foreign locker rooms. They don't cut their grass the same way you cut your grass at your home game, at your home field. So the terrain is different. But Barack Obama had been the most powerful man in the world. So no matter where he landed, it was going to be good soil for him. But what about the kids of Chicago? How did you leave the kids of Chicago behind? That's where I had a problem with. Just like when you start an initiative in this county, and after 9 years, we should be seeing many success stories in this county, just like every other place that had a My Brother's Keeper initiative. And we went from the beginning of My Brother's Keeper. Then we moved it up 4 years. And I'm going to move it up basically to current time. I think this was about 8-9 months ago. 8-9 months ago. So it's current time, not real time. He ain't done nothing real. And this video is going to be a little bit longer. And I'm going to let it cook until I feel like I need to stop it and intervene. But we saw the beginning of My Brother's Keeper, a program to help young boys of color get into some things, skilled trades, entrepreneurship. They weren't really talking a whole lot about staying out of the gangs and the violence and all that stuff, because those are things you just don't want to bring in right at the beginning. Although the one kid said, well, you know, the bad thing about my neighborhood is people get shot. And I'm sure they told him to say what he felt. But most of the people that rocked with Barack Obama, and I say most, they didn't know nothing about no gun violence in their neighborhoods. Most. Because not all Black people live in gun violence riddled neighborhoods. And most white people don't. So when he was talking about that at the beginning, a lot of people could identify with it, but most people couldn't. But it was okay because you're young and he felt that to say, and he said it. Just like Barack felt what he said, and he said it. Just like Irvin felt what he said, and he said it. I got it. I totally got it. This wasn't about the words. It wasn't about what they were saying. It was about what they were going to do. So I rocked with it. I rocked all the way with it. I was good. So I want to go into this third video. This will be the final video, I believe. Actually, I might have something from Michelle too, I think. This video brings us up to current time. We've seen the beginning. We've seen how it advanced. because by the time 4 years worked in, they really got the workshops and the, you know, and the expos going and things like that, teaching the young men how to do skilled trades. You had barbering going on there. You know, they were putting them on different business platforms, skilled trades programs, you know, outside of the cosmetology field, you know, electricians, plumbers, all types of stuff. That's what you expect out of a My Brother's Keeper program. You don't want to just be talking about recidivism. You don't always just want to be talking about black on black crime. You want to be talking about how can we keep you out of trouble? How can we keep you on the straight and narrow? How can we help you bubble? How can we help you advance? That's what you want to be talking about. That's what My Brother's Keeper needs to be talking about. But we saw it take a turn in these most recent times, and it's a culmination of all the years of My Brother's Keeper being in existence. Some of you may have seen this, some of you may not. I'm going to put up disclaimer 107 here, and I'm going to cite fair use. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use purposes, such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. This video was made for entertainment purposes and transformative in nature. So let me get to this third video, because this comes from the CBS News. And shout out to our brother, Nate Burleson. Nate Burleson is a former football player, played a lot of years right here in Detroit. And I got to give it to Nate because he done bubbled. Nate done took his football career and turned it into something that's beautiful. I mean, that's really beautiful as a broadcaster. He not only does the CBS News, he does the CBS Sports. He's a very multi-talented brother. And I've always liked the way he's delivered because he's as real as they come, but he knows how to speak the King's English. Some people might call him an uppity Negro, fancy talking Negro. He speaks so well. He's so well spoken. Yeah, that's probably what Nate gets a lot. But Nate's real. And Nate sat down with Barack Obama to talk about the advancement of My Brother's Keeper, where it was, where it went to, and where it's at today. So I'll probably cut in somewhere 2-3 minutes into this thing, or where I feel needed. It's kind of one of those things like you are preaching. When it strikes me to cut in, I'm gonna, because I've seen this probably 5-6 times. And this is the video that brings everything full circle for me with the national My Brother's Keeper. And then we'll talk a little bit more about the local My Brother's Keeper after this is done.
But right now, we begin this hour with our exclusive conversation with former President Barack Obama. Since leaving office, the 44th president has used his influence and resources to help some of those who need it most. The Obama's foundation, My Brother's Keeper Alliance, was designed to fill opportunity gaps for young men of color. The group recently announced it will focus on 4 model communities that have shown that success in those areas. They are Newark, New Jersey, Omaha, Nebraska, Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Yonkers, New York.
Barack Obama is from Chicago, Illinois. Well, he's from Hawaii, but Chicago, Illinois. The 4 featured programs here: Newark, New Jersey, Omaha, Nebraska, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Yonkers, New York. Newark, New Jersey, Omaha, Nebraska, Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Yonkers, New York. No Chicago. No Chicago. I guess Chicago ain't home now since him and Michelle moved to Martha's Vineyard.
We spent a few days with Obama in Chicago, where we saw firsthand the impact he and his foundation are having on community.
So they did the interview in Chicago, but he didn't feature the Chicago's My Brother's Keeper. I ain't 35 seconds in on this thing, y'all, and I've already had to stop it twice. Hopefully you see where this is going.
It's never safe, no matter where you go. You got hustles popping 4-5s instead of 6-4s.
In the basement of this Baptist church on Chicago's South Side, they're working on a lot more than music.
All you hear is pop, 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 gunshot. Who was that? That was Ricky.
Violence may inspire some of their lyrics, but this safe space is about personal connections, feeling seen and heard. Guitars Over Guns is a grassroots program that gives teens a chance to work on their lyrics, beats, and production skills.
Are you trying to do something?
When My Brother's Keeper was first started, they didn't talk anything about a music program. They didn't talk anything about rap lyrics. They didn't talk about expressing what you feel in your community through your poetry, lyrics, song, nothing. The first 4 places that they said they were going to feature in this video were Newark, New Jersey, Omaha, Nebraska, Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Yonkers, New York. We're a minute and 12 into the video, and they're in a recording studio in Chicago. Never mind.
Upbeat, can we do some storytelling? We're going to talk about what's going on in the world.
And mentors to help remind them of their potential.
Story of a young man and to make it out, gave his whole life to the game, even when he had his doubts.
It's one of many programs the Obama Foundation and its My Brother's Keeper initiative help support.
And that's what My Brother's Keeper is all about. Helping more of our young people stay on track, providing the support they need to think more broadly about their future.
That was when My Brother's Keeper was first started. He went back and got some footage. They used some B-roll for this Man on a Mission clip. He went all the way back 9 years ago to say that's what My Brother's Keeper is about. My Brother's Keeper is about making rap lyrics, expressing what they see in the community. Because truly, I don't believe those rap lyrics would even be the same today. Chicago's getting fused out by illegal migrants. Their own elected officials are trying to shut everything they got going positive in the neighborhoods down. They done canceled a football season for a little league football team because they're taking their field house and using it as a migrant shelter. I haven't heard Barack Obama speak not one time on the migrant crisis in Chicago. But let's hear him speak on the rap lyrics of the youth of Chicago.
Nearly a decade later, some of that progress was shared on this stage in downtown Chicago.
Mr. Mayor, how you doing? What's going on, man?
Where the former president of the United States gathered community leaders from around the country, specifically Newark, Omaha, Tulsa, and Yonkers, New York, highlighting what is working in education and violence prevention in those places. Newark Mayor Ras Baraka.
We were able to experience 35% reduction last year just in shooting victims alone, which is historic for us. We're going to target you with resources, with job opportunities, with educational opportunities, with love. That's right, with love, not just handcuffs. Right.
200 cities with varying degrees of success are making the effort to identify the barriers and knock those barriers away for so many of our young boys and young men of color so that they can succeed. Making sure they're prepared for school, making sure that there's a job waiting for them if they do the right thing, and then dealing with violence in their communities. The vast majority of these young people will succeed, and that will be good for all of us.
Gun violence.
The vast majority of these young boys will succeed, and that's good for everybody. That's good for everybody. Rising tides raises all boats. That's the part of MBK Washington took and ran with. The rapping in the music video. Yeah, they got 734. They got the 734 album. They should have a new one coming out, I believe. I believe they're already working on the next album. Yeah, Free, you're right. He's talking about gun violence. He's talking about the vast majority of young men will succeed, and that's going to help everybody. He doesn't even sound as confident as he sounded 5 years ago. And he definitely is nowhere near where he sounded 9 years ago. This is scripted. It's rehearsed. It's tired. But he's a man on a mission. So let's listen.
This is the #1 cause of death for children in this country. What is the radical solution? And do you believe there is a larger issue at hand that causes fractures among us in this country?
We are unique among advanced, developed nations in tolerating, on a routine basis, gun violence in the form of shootings, mass shootings, suicides. You know, in Australia, you had one mass shooting 50 years ago, and they said, oh, we're not doing that anymore. That is normally how you would expect a society to respond when your children are at risk.
Why is it so hard for us to do that?
Look, I think somehow, and there are a lot of historical reasons for this, gun ownership in this country became an ideological issue and a partisan issue in ways that it shouldn't be. It has become sort of a proxy for arguments about our culture wars. Instead of thinking about it in a very pragmatic way, we end up really arguing about identity and emotion and all kinds of stuff that does not have to do with keeping our children safe, even in the
babble is something that is most hurtful. When you hear him just spinning out the word salad, because Barry is good. I ain't gonna lie, he's good. He's smooth with his words. He knows what he needs to say. So in essence, he always says the right thing. He always says the right thing. You rarely hear him say the wrong thing. But the problem is, Nate asked him, why is it so hard for us to get rid of our issues with gun violence? And he's over on gun ownership. He ain't talking about the lack of resources, the educational system, the home infrastructure. He ain't talking about that. He's talking about gun ownership. He just turned it into a political issue. And this is why people don't like when I run at situations like this, because I dissect situations like this. Everybody's not going to. It's not the sexiest thing to do. I get it. You know, I could be out here just trying to run and talk to people and interview every single politician to come say the same thing. You know, I've been there. I did that. Go back and check the record. From prosecutors to senators to state reps, councilmen, I did all that. We've been there. Commissioners, we did all that. That's all over with. Now we got to really get something done, because you've got something like My Brother's Keeper in play here on a national level. And you would think that if he did this on a national level, it would trickle down to the state level. But it's trickled down all right. It's trickled down.
Absence of action at the federal level. you are still seeing communities able to reduce violence by dealing with not just access to guns, but just as importantly, making sure that the young people in these communities feel as if they've got somebody who's paying attention to them. We don't have room for cynicism, and we can't give up.
Hey, what's happening?
There was no cynicism in this room.
What's up, man?
When the former president dropped by.
Call me natural cause I'm black. This is so rap. Lyrics dripping off the lips like honey snaps. Let these brothers stick to me like a bad rap.
Truthfully, I'm contemplating making OnlyFans. My OnlyFans would probably look at me like, are you crazy, man? But I'm just trying to make some bands and maybe help my mama see Jamaica, man. Talk to Papa T like, see you later, man.
I mean, is this what we want? Is this what we need? We just need to make rap records. And trust me, I have absolutely nothing against youngins writing raps, being lyricists, being songwriters, being composers, being musicians. I have absolutely no problem with that. But what I have a problem with is, where do you go from here? Where do you go from here? Because everybody in that room is not going to become a platinum rap artist. Everyone in that room is not going to become an accomplished musician, songwriter, producer, singer, dancer. Not everybody in that room. It can't be like that. If everybody made it, everybody'd be doing it. So there's got to be something to hitch on to that lyrical wagon. I have no problem with you wanting to be a rapper. I have no problem with you wanting to be a music artist. I have no problem with it. But what you going to do for the rest of the hours a day? You can only rap so long. Only people who rap full time is the people who are making money off of it full time. And all these kids, if you look in that room, and I'm going to start this video again, all these kids are not. They are absolutely not 12, 13, 14 years old. A lot of them are adults. A lot of them in their 20s and 30s. And although I applaud them being engaged, this thing was meant for youngins, them impressionable ages, grade school, intermediate, secondary, high school age kids. I ain't got no problem working with 20, 30-year-old kids, but they not kids unless they haven't advanced to be men. Because you can be 30 years old and you can still be a kid in my book if you ain't advanced. But just look at who he's dealing with on a current basis. On a current basis, look at who he's dealing with in this room. They don't look like the kids that he was dealing with 9 years ago.
Maybe a couple of you just tell me a little bit about how you came to know about the program, why it's been important to you, the kinds of things that you've been doing. Go ahead.
After coming from Lake Geneva, I think it was, he ended up inviting me to the studio.
Okay.
And when I came in, it was a day that I didn't have school, and he thought that I was suspended from school. So he wouldn't let me record music until he got the approval. Until he got the approval. He's like, yeah, you can sit over here and do your work. You know, you can chill in the studio all day, but you got to definitely, I got to get an approval first. When he got the approval, I was able to record. Okay. So all right. I've been since then.
Fantastic.
Seeing the former president of the United States walk in here and show how much he's invested, not just in what you guys are doing here, but also this community. What did that mean to you?
It just kind of showed me somebody cares, or it's like it's easier to reach. You know, it's not like you just speaking to the community, or you just like you're not just showing your face to the community. on camera. And so for him to come in, shake everybody's hand, you know, listen to the raps, actually give feedback, it kind of meant a lot.
Haters praying for my stress, hoping that I break the sweat. Elohim's my source, so I'm passing every single test.
When we went to that program and you saw this incredible talent in a church basement making music, and Nate, I think you felt it too. What was most powerful about it was seeing these young men really looking out for each other. Getting more of that in our communities is also going to make a difference. And that's what we're demonstrating through these model communities of My Brother's Keeper. It's a matter of want to on the part of the broader society.
You know, I'm a father of a 19-year-old, 17-year-old, a 12-year-old, and I am an optimistic man. But I find myself falling into this space where I have concern about the country that they will inherit once I'm gone. Post-presidency, what about this country keeps you up at night?
The thing that I'm most worried about is the degree to which we now have a divided conversation, in part because we have a divided media, right? So I'm much older than you, Nate.
You don't look it, though.
That's what I was fishing for. But when I was coming up, you had 3 TV stations.
Yeah.
And people were getting a similar sense of what is true and what isn't, what was real and what was not. Today, what
Negroes, do your duty.
When he spins the word salad, I mean, he's a master at it, y'all. He's a master at it. And I get it. I totally get it. I'm not going to say anything negative as to where he's at with this thing. But I kind of got the look like Nate's got on the frozen screen, like, what? What you talking about? Now he's into talking about the TV stations. When he was growing up, there was 3 TV stations, you know, NBC, ABC, and CBS. That's what he's talking about. My neighborhood, it was 2, 4, and 7. I don't know what it was in everybody else's. And he's going to advance the conversation, advance the dialogue to break something down that's so simplistic, because he always says the right things, y'all. That's his job, to say the right things. But you got to understand, I'm past hearing Barry O say the right things. I need him to say the correct things. There's a difference between saying the right thing and saying the correct thing. So I'm going to let him go ahead and cook and finish this up. But where Barack Obama was with My Brother's Keeper at the beginning to where he is right now is night and day. And all those organizations throughout the country that have My Brother's Keeper organizations, if they're following his lead, they're in the same place that he is on a national level with his alliance. If they're not following his lead, then they're even worse off.
What I'm most concerned about is the fact that because of the splintering of the media, we almost occupy different realities. If something happens, in the past, everybody could say, all right, we may disagree on how to solve it, but at least we all agree that, yeah, that's an issue. Now, people will say, well, that didn't happen, or I don't believe that. And one of, I think, the goals of the Obama Foundation and one of the goals of my post-presidency is, how do we return to that common conversation? How can we have a common set of facts? We may disagree on gun violence in terms of what the best prescriptions are, but we can't deny the data that says the United States has levels of gun violence that are 5, 10, 15 times more than other countries. So if we say that it's just a mental health problem, well, it's not like there aren't people with mental health problems in those other countries. What's the difference? This is probably the difference. Now, we can have a debate, but at least we've agreed on some facts.
Wow. You know, I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation, specifically the part when he talked about media being fractured
Yes.
and how we now occupy different realities. So there's rarely common ground that we find as a country when it comes to issues that are ripping us apart.
Yeah.
And working in media, it gave me a different perspective on what we do. And it also allows me to look in the mirror. How well are we doing the job of making sure that both sides of whatever spectrum can at least see truth and then start a conversation after that?
Well, that's the thing. I've never heard it put that way, a divided conversation. He didn't even use the phrase divided country.
Right.
He used divided conversation. And I've never heard it put that way. And I think he's so on point about that. That's what's so scary, that we can't even agree on the facts anymore. And how do you get back to that? I still don't know. I also like what he said about guns, that we tolerate on a routine basis children getting killed. We tolerate that.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking to me.
It's so important to remind ourselves that the goal here, my fond hope, and I know yours as well, is that this table here will be that common conversation in American life, and you can have conversations like that. He's also, he's quite an academic. He's a deep reader. He's historically correct in saying that the gun debate has become ideological. As recently as the late 80s,
Yes.
Republican Supreme Court nominees did not interpret the Second Amendment as meaning individual ownership of firearms, but state militias.
Yeah.
It's been a cultural and legal shift in interpretation, and that means that we can go back to it. In theory.
No, I've heard people say when it comes to Barack Obama, you never questioned his character, his integrity, and his intelligence.
Character, integrity, and intelligence. That's how he got us. Character, integrity, and intelligence. He swept Black America and all of America, truly. I mean, the ones who supported him, I guess, off our feet with character, integrity, and intelligence. He never promised that he was going to do anything. But then again, he did. Because he said, I'm my brother's keeper. And he put himself in that wheel and said, I'm my brother's keeper. And 9 years later, we saw the advancement of my brother's keeper. Now, if that's what Obama himself, the billionaire, former president, former most powerful man on this planet, said, what do you think the organizations around the country are doing? If that's his leadership, what do you think everybody else is doing? Because everybody's going to follow your lead, sir. Everybody's going to follow what you do out here, sir. We're counting on you, Barack, to lead the people. You said, I'm my brother's keeper. And he went and got a lot of celebrities, Steph Curry, a whole bunch of athletes and entertainers to endorse my brother's keeper. And that's generally what gets us. The celebrity status gets us. What they call it, the decadent veil, that gets us. And that's what he did to put the blinders on Black America. Because most of these programs that you're going to see around the country probably won't have any white kids there. Let me just be honest. It's not going to be white kids in My Brother's Keeper. Most of them. They're going to be all Black kids. He said kids of color, Black and brown. So you're not going to see very many white kids there, although there's a lot of poor white people. There's a lot of underserved white people. But you're not going to see them following Barack Obama. They don't feel like they need to follow Barack Obama. They don't feel like Barack Obama is their keeper, let alone their brother. This program was set up for young Black and brown is something, tell you, people. And when it came about that it really wasn't doing anything on a national level, that's when I literally started looking at on the local level. Because the local level has a branch and it's been in play about the same amount of time that My Brother's Keeper even started around the country. Well, started with Barack Obama. It was picked up by the Washtenaw County Sheriff, Jerry Clayton, because Jerry Clayton loved the fact that he was able to politicize being a sheriff. I've never liked the fact that elected police officials have to be Democrat or Republican. When people get arrested, I don't think they really care whether the police officer is a Democrat or Republican. But they've politicized law enforcement. So as the sheriff, he's a Democratic sheriff. And he rolls with the Democratic Party. And he hobnobs with all the powerful Democrats around the state, from Big Gretch to the AG Dana Nessel to all the powerful Democrats. He likes that. He likes that he's a politician. I really wish he liked being a sheriff as much as he liked being a politician. I really like that he put the effort into My Brother's Keeper locally, the WMBK, because when you saw that expo in Newark, New Jersey, and they were doing all types of skilled trades things and had these, how come ain't nothing like that ever been set up on Michigan's campus or on Eastern's campus? How come we ain't never had something like that? You know, bringing in all the people, all the powerful skilled trades people, and they ain't got to be black. They don't have to be black. But if you are putting this into the underserved communities, make sure all the black kids can come in and get it. Because as you saw in Newark, New Jersey, you see how many white facilitators they had leading people around, giving them tours. The director of his My Brother's Keeper program is not black. The main facilitator under Barack Obama is not black. So this ain't got nothing to do with blackity, black. But you said you was going to help black and brown kids. So I'm talking about the advancement of them, not who's in front of them, the advancement of them. Appreciate you, Free. So in listening to him over and over talk about gun violence, so most recently, we weren't talking about gun violence in 2014. Only that youngin' who was in Chicago who said that's what made his neighborhood tough to come up in, the gun violence. But by the time you got to New York, which is heavily riddled with gun violence, they were talking about the comeuppance of young brothers and sisters. Well, I'm sorry. I jumped the shark there because I'm going to get to My Sister's Keeper in just a minute. And as we move into our current state, we have fashioned ourselves to see the progress of rappers being created through the My Brother's Keeper program. I ain't see no barbers, hairstylists, plumbers, electricians, carpenters, lawyers, doctors, veterinarians, teachers, professors. So you got to understand, if he caught a 17, 18-year-old back in 2014, and he said if they worked through the program on the other side is going to be a job. You take a 18-year-old back in 2014, you add 9 years to their life. They 27 right now. That's old enough to be a teacher with a master's degree. Have you heard about anybody with a master's degree in the My Brother's Keeper program in your locality? I haven't heard about anybody come through with a master's degree in my locality. I haven't heard about anybody with a bachelor's degree come through the My Brother's Keeper program. There might be some high school diplomas. There might be some GEDs. Maybe they focused on recidivism because they'd like to talk recidivism around here. I'm not sure why Jerry got involved in this. If he was going to switch to community violence intervention, then why did you start with My Brother's Keeper? You just totally jumped ship. You went from mentoring young boys to mentoring young criminals. This is where we're at. Not where it was 9 years ago. Not what he was talking about 5 years ago. This is where we're at today. I've been asking folks, where are the success stories in the My Brother's Keeper program? We saw some success stories, I guess, when he went to that recording studio. They was putting the raps together. My OnlyFans, my OnlyFans, only. We talking about OnlyFans? He should have been embarrassed. He was in the room when they talking about OnlyFans. And I know OnlyFans is not all just a sexually driven platform. Quite the contrary. There's a lot of people that make a lot of money on OnlyFans that don't take their clothes off. But when you think about OnlyFans, what do you think about? What do you think about? I know that there's plenty of people that make bread on OnlyFans without taking a stitch of clothing off. But the vast majority, as Barack says, when you think about OnlyFans, you think about naked folks. And he thought that was cool to be up in there with the OnlyFans. Okay. And what I didn't see, you heard a couple lyricists, but I didn't really see nobody playing. Give me one quick second. Excuse me. Y'all know if I got to drop the mic, I got to drop the mic. And I had to drop the mic because I had an offer. And at 105, I will officially accept that offer. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to switch gears. I'm going to talk about my sister's keeper. We ain't gonna be in here all day, as I said. But what we're going to do is we're going to tie Barack in with Michelle. Because I think it's necessary, because I believe that a lot of what Barack does comes through Michelle. Because I don't believe Barack is directly connected to the ground the way Michelle is. And I know that they don't come up, y'all. They've literally come up. But I still think in their heart of hearts, if they're still doing work out here, they're still reaching people. And indeed they are. I just don't believe that they're reaching the people that they promised to reach. So Michelle Obama has been on a crusade with her books. I think she just had another book come out, if I'm not mistaken. She just wrote another book, maybe a little less than a year ago. So what's that, 2 books since they left the White House? And Michelle Obama has been on a crusade, I believe, with the black girl magic indoctrination. And I love that catchphrase when it first came out, y'all. Y'all got to understand. I loved it. I totally loved it until I didn't realize that when you said black girl magic, it went or meant black boy tragic. I didn't feel that you had to elevate black women by simultaneously trouncing black men. I didn't realize that. And that's what came into play. That's what happened with black girl magic. And what I want to do is I want to go with something that Michelle Obama did on a current setting. And I want to speak on it because once you're able to hear what she says, because I totally get what she says, being a father of daughters, of girls, of daughters, of girls. I get young girls battling self-doubt. My whole goal in life was to have my daughters never doubt themselves. Be confident, stick your chest out. After all, I'm your daddy. You ain't never got to be scared of nothing. You can be proud of who you are. You are beautiful. You are smart. Ain't nobody bad like you. But I didn't say, and above all else, boys ain't shit. No. If I said that, I'd have been talking about myself. And as minimized and compartmentalized and marginalized and had all the lies told on me, I ain't never been less of a daddy. Ever. I ain't never felt like I was less than a father. For when my baby called, I had to be there. I might not even be messing with them like that. Because I can cuss you out and still be in the car on the way with bags and zip ties if somebody messes with you. That's the way we roll. I'm not going to do nothing to my baby, so you can't do nothing to my baby. I don't care if me and my baby ain't even kicking it like that. That's the kind of daddy that I've always been. That's the kind of daddy that I'll always be. I was on the phone last night. And the baby walked in, got a new job. And she tired, and I was like, hey, how you doing? And she actually saw that I was on the phone and really didn't want to talk to me. And I stopped her dead in her tracks right in the kitchen, 3 steps inside the door from the garage. And my phone conversation is going. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. I got to talk to my daughter. And I could see the expression in her face like, ooh, you know, I don't want to interrupt your conversation, but damn that. This can wait. Because now me and you building. I want to know how your first day was. I want to know how you like things. I want to know what you didn't like. I want to know what you learned. I want to know what you didn't learn. And at the end of it all, I want to know, was it worth it? And are you going to go back? Because don't nobody say you got to go back but you. And I made sure I had that conversation right then, right there. Not finish my conversation, not finish my fried rice, right then, right now, because that's the most important thing. Not only am I my brother's keeper, I'm my baby's keeper. So I did what I had to do. And my time right then was for her, not on that phone call. That phone call could wait. Hell, they didn't like it. They could have hung up. Because I'm going to talk to her because I need to talk to her now. That's how we're supposed to be working this program out here. Brother Williams, how you doing? As always, I laced him up early today, brother. We was in here last night slanging and banging, but I laced him up early. Appreciate you coming through last night. Appreciate you coming through today. I know I didn't actually comment on all the stuff you dropped in the chat, but we felt it. Me and Dread, we built off of it. Yes, you were. You was in here all night with us. Yes, sir. That's the support I need, brother. Sometimes it don't be but about 5, 10 of us in this mug, but we build. But we build. Thank you for being your brother's keeper. Real shit. So yeah, I want to speak on Michelle. This video here is about 10 minutes long. I'm going to let it run until I need to stop it. And I know I'm not going to be able to get all the way through this thing. Appreciate you. I got it. I got it. But I need to talk about this video because she talked about the self-doubt of young girls. And where I think a lot of things were spot on, I would have loved to have seen Barry do a synonymous spot about Black boys. I would have loved to have seen it. So I'm not really condemning what she says in this spot. I think it's a beautiful thing for young Black girls. I would have just loved to have seen her spouse do the same thing for young Black boys. Absolutely. Let's cook on it.
I wanted to ask you, Mrs. Obama, you know, so many women struggle with self-doubt. Do you? And if you do, how do you push past it?
I talk about this all the time, especially with the young girls I meet, because they look at people like us in these positions and they think, well, you must have been born into that place, which is the one of the reasons why when I meet with young girls, I don't care where in the world it is, I don't want them to know Michelle Obama, the former first lady. I want them to know Michelle Obama, that girl from the South Side of Chicago. I want to break down that wall of impossibility to let them know that I am them and they are me. And yes, every other moment I feel self-doubt, because when you and society intentionally does that to women and girls. It starts at a very early age. We question our value, our worth. We question how we look, how we talk, where we're from. There are people with power who want us to stay small, they don't stay doubtful. And so our cultures reinforce that. So the one thing I want young girls to understand is that those feelings are real. They are not crazy. They are indoctrinated in us all, and we carry them around with us our entire lives. And I don't care how far you go, whether you go to the White House, you are constantly batting away those negative messages of being not enough. And yes, I deal with that too. And I don't want young women, young girls to get ahead of themselves to think that they have to fix it all now. In order to break these cycles of negativity, you got to get up every day and do the work right before you. That means getting your education when the opportunity presents itself, and then focusing on that, doing the work, doing your homework, getting to the next stage in life. Because if you take those small steps over time, you build up a lifetime of another story for yourself. No one can do that for you. You have to look over your life. And we as women sometimes feel like we have to have done everything right before we can take credit for the things that we have done. But there is power in what we do every day. And I have to remind myself of that every single moment. But now that I'm older, I can now look back and say, yeah, I am worthy. I have value. But it's not because I'm sitting here. I had that value when I was 3, when I was 5, when I was 7, when I was 12. And for the young girls out there, you have it now. You just have to take the time to realize it and be patient with yourself as you do it, because the process takes a lifetime.
Takes a lifetime. I am tripping right now that you just said that you deal with self-doubt all the time. Like somehow that didn't seem to
Right
me.
in the back, right back there.
Me too.
Right back there. I was like, don't trip, don't fall. The same things. Amal and I were like, what are you wearing? Is this color right? Will this be stupid?
Deeply honored to be doing this work with you, and also, what are you wearing?
So what do you do, Amal, when self-doubt attacks you? Because that's what it feels like, right? It kind of feels like an attack.
I don't know. I mean, I think I get supercharged by the people I love and just having an amazing family and friendships, and now 2 kids who are kind of looking up at you, expecting you to have all the answers. And it's put a fine point on why we're doing all of this, and I think it's, I imagine them kind of they're only 5, so they're not quite on top of current affairs yet. But in a few
I actually
years,
don't believe that. I bet you they know more than most people.
Well, actually, my son drew a picture the other day of a prison, and he was like, Putin should be in here. And I was like, oh my goodness.
Maybe I went a little too
I don't know
far
what,
on that one.
I don't know what he overheard, but I am working on Ukraine still. But I do think about in a few years when maybe 5 or more, when they sort of start to learn about some of these issues that we're talking about and what's happening in the world. And, when they ask us, what did you do about this? What did you say about that? What will my answer be? And I hope it will be a good one.
I think it's important to tell all girls that you can be whatever you want to be. You can be a mom and a working mom, or a working woman and not a mom, or a mom and stay home. Like, all of these choices are okay. And guess what? You can also get it wrong with your kids. So same thing, my daughter was 5, my oldest, and she told her doll to lay down because it had HIV/AIDS and she needed to take care of it. And I thought, oh my God, I've gone way too far on my work.
But no prison drawings?
No.
I have one question that I'd like you all to answer, because I thought this was a brilliant idea. So the Girls Opportunity Alliance asked girls to write to their 25-year-old self. And since we are so young, I'm going to ask you to reverse that. What would you, and I'll start here with you, Melinda, what would you tell your 25-year-old self now that you've lived a life?
I would say life is even more beautiful ahead than you realize. And I would say to my 25-year-old self, you knew in high school who you were. And you let go of some of that for lots of reasons. People, situations, college, people around you. You knew who you were. And once you learned to re-be the girl you were in high school is when you grew into the full woman that you could be.
So I call BS on some of that, okay? That was Bill Gates' ex-wife, all right? That was Bill Gates' ex-wife. I don't know where she really comes from in life. I don't know exactly what her socioeconomic situation was growing up. I probably can agree with her that she probably did experience some self-doubt. She absolutely experienced some self-doubt. But she rode with Bill through a lot of years. She was over there in Africa with Bill. She'd been over here in America with Bill. And they done a lot more work than just floppy disk. And she's continued her mission since leaving Bill into the euthanization of Black America. What she give, like $250 million to Planned Parenthood? Wasn't that her? Wasn't that her? You gave all that money to Planned Parenthood? And I'm not saying that Planned Parenthood didn't need the money, but I've always stood where I'm going to stand with abortion. I understand reproductive rights. I understand the necessity for a woman to be able to call the shots of what goes on with her body. I can rock with that 1,000%. But reproductive rights and all out repetitively killing our babies is a different thing. I don't look at abortions as a form of birth control. That's what birth control pills are, IUDs, condoms, all types of contraceptives are out there before you got to get to aborting a baby. But you should indeed be able to call the shots on what you need to do for your body and for your sanctity, for your life. I'm never going to be against that. But when they gave the monies that they gave, I mean, she gave money. Hell, everybody's favorite big girl, Lizzo. Lizzo gave $500,000 to Planned Parenthood. Lizzo. So you got somebody to give $250 million, and then you got somebody to give 500. And they bought on them scales right there. Lizzo can't give $250 million to nobody. And Melinda Gates would probably laugh if somebody said, "Can we get a donation of $500,000? She'd laugh. She'd be like, $500,000 what? She gave $250 million to Planned Parenthood. Lizzo gave $500,000 to Planned Parenthood. But she talked about experiencing self-doubt and recovering the person that she was. She sure did recover. And she went through them struggle years with Bill, and then they bubbled. They bubbled into the moguls that they are today. And she's still moguling, even though she ain't with Bill. She's still moguling, dropping off checks at every nonprofit that she can do. I'm going to go on and let the rest of this video finish up. And I'm going to really explain why I'm where I'm at with my sister's keeper.
Boom. Mrs. Obama.
That part. Just simply.
See, I didn't even like that. They're always trying to get in with the catchphrases and stuff like that. Always trying to get in with the catchphrases. You know how I feel about that, Free, with them catchphrases. If they're going to say that part, they need to use your that part.
That part. That part. That part.
Yeah, I got that part on a drop. I don't need Michelle Obama's that part. I got that part on a drop.
That part.
Yeah.
But I would tell myself, you are good enough. You are valued. You are worthy. Your story matters. Your voice matters. You will do the great things that you know you can do. There was something that struck a chord. It's like we all knew who we were when we were little. We knew our power then. It was just second guessed. So I would tell myself, follow that instinct, that pay attention to that flame in you because it is real, and keep it fueled, and don't let anybody try to blow it out because you're going to need it.
Wanjiru?
You know, it's so inspiring to hear Mrs. Obama and Melinda Gates, share about what they would tell themselves when they're 25 years old. I think the best thing I would say is if there's something good that someone can be able to invest on and has the best interest in this world is knowledge. Let's keep on encouraging our girls. Keep on doing it. Keep on believing yourself. Keep on, you're getting there. Keep on. Let's get her there.
Now, I don't know exactly who that is. And while I'm still on this thing, let me find out who that is. What is that? SAMBRU. So I knew she was African. Okay, so she's from Kenya. She's from Kenya. She's from Kenya. Okay. Girls, let's say girl. There we go. Samburu Girls Foundation. And this foundation is in Kenya. Okay. This foundation, the Samburu, let me just kick back at it. Hold on one quick second. Right there.
So inspiring to hear Mrs. Obama and Melinda Gates, share about what they would tell themselves when they're 25 years old. I think the best thing I would.
So the Samburu Girls Foundation is in Kenya. And if you're looking to go there, it's 20600 Lusuk, Maralal, Kenya. If you need me to send you the GPS, I'll do it for you. Because that's where she's located. Okay? Just letting you know, you're not going to find her in America. You're not going to find her in Chicago. You're not going to find her in Newark, Yonkers, Tulsa, or Omaha, where all the thriving My Brother's Keeper situations are happening, because I don't know where the thriving My Sister's Keepers foundations are thriving. Well, I do now. Samburu Girls Foundation, 2600 Lusuk, Maralal, Kenya. Phone number 254-700-634-458. If you need the website, I'll put it in the chat. See, now you starting shit. Now you starting shit. You know exactly where Barack is from. See, y'all got to understand, Frida ain't up in here just to be putting up stuff, so I put it up in the chat. Barack Obama is a Kenyan American, which makes him an African American. And he has now got My Sister's Keeper over in Samburu, Kenya. You see how that worked? My Brother's Keeper is over here, all over the place. All over. They got gerbil wheels and My Brother's Keeper all over the country. Gerbil wheels and turntables. Microphones and beat machines. I wonder if they making rap records over in Samburu. They making rap records over in Samburu? Let me see what they're doing. I'm going to go to the Samburu Foundation. Just look at it on my phone real quick. See what they got going on in Samburu. We fight for the girl child. Wow. Oh, I'm absolutely going to bring this up. Yeah, I'm bringing this up. I see what they focusing on. I see what they focusing on. Man, we done with that. Girl, get off the screen. Yeah, this is what they on right now with the Samburu Girls Foundation in Kenya. Let me go and blow it up a little bit so y'all can see the words the way I'm seeing the words. Can y'all see that? Can y'all see that? There it is. There it is. Look at this. Look at this. This is the My Sister's Keeper program, the Samburu Girls Foundation in Kenya, Barack Obama's daddy's homeland. We end harmful cultures. Look at this. We fight for the girl child. We fight harmful traditional practices that affect the girl child among nomadic pastoralist communities to empower the pastoralist girl child, to make the world a better and safer place for pastoralist girls in Kenya throughout the provision of life opportunities and what's that? Oh, psychosocial. That's not psychological. That's psychosocial care, free from the harmful. Boy, they sure do say harmful a lot. Retrogressive cultural practices of FGM, child marriage, and beating. What is FGM? I know what child marriage is, and what is beating? Okay, here's their overview. Over 1,183 girls rescued. Over 321 girls educated. So wait a minute. Y'all got more girls that you've had to rescue than you've had to educate? And I'm thankful for you rescuing the girls, but why is the education rate so low? The education rate to rescue rate is only like 25%. Over 340,000 people trained across 4 counties in northern Kenya. So you got 340,000 people trained across 4 counties in Kenya, but you've only got 321 rescued. That's less than 1%. Over 15 acres donated by the community to build a rescue center. Oh, 15 acres. 15 acres. Y'all got a mule? Well, I guess you ain't got a mule. If they didn't give you 40 acres, they definitely ain't gonna give you no mule. Oh, there's beating. I get it. Now they're bringing it up here. Beating, child beating is a major cultural practice found in the Samburu community. Samburu Morans, young warriors aged 15 to 35 are not allowed to marry. Hence, girls as young as 9 years old are assigned to male relatives by use of red traditional beads. The young girl is adorned with beads signifying engagement for sexual purposes only. What? The mother of the beaded girl builds a hut outside their manyatas where the male relatives visit the beaded girl to engage in sexual activity at any given moment he wishes. Oh, this is what you're doing over there, Michelle? This what y'all dealing with over there? FGM, female genital mutilation, cutting, is recognized internationally as a violation of the human rights of girls and women. Despite the fact that FGM is illegal in Kenya, it is still widely practiced in Samburu, Isiolo, Marisbit, and Likapitibida. Female genital mutilation, cutting, can be defined as the practice that involves partial total removal of the external genital organs of a female for customary or any other non-therapeutic reasons. First, they want to rape the girl, because that's rape. That's sexual attack. Now you attacking her genitals? This is what these girls got to look forward to over there? Child marriage. Globally, about 15 million girls are married off while young, meaning a child is married off every 2 seconds. In Samburu, Isiolo, Marisabit, and Likapitibida counties, after the girls have undergone FGM, so after they've been mutilated, they are expected to get married immediately following that day. That's one hell of a honeymoon. The fact that they are still children does not exempt them from such a heavy responsibility. Marriage for girls can lead to complications in pregnancy and childbirth. I guess so. I guess so. One of the main causes of death of young girls aged 15 and 19 in Kenya. So yeah, we got gun violence in America. They got child marriage, female genital mutilation, and beating. This is where y'all at with it. This is where y'all at with it. Good morning, Mahogany Works. Nah, it's really not our business, brother. But you got to understand, those cultural norms over there, they work their way into our society. We've got the female genital mutilation happening over here in the United States. Several doctors have been brought up in charges and tried and convicted of it right here in the States, some in the state of Michigan where I am, brother. Oprah has her hands all up in this mess. Where is her school located? Don't know. Don't know. But since you gonna jump the shark again, Free, we might as well go in and swim in these waters today. We might as well go ahead and swim in these waters today. You want to get in here talking about okra? Yeah. Let's talk about okra. Because okra, she's got her hand all up in this thing. Got her hand all up in this thing. Just like, no, okra. No. Michelle Obama had went on Oprah or whatever. It wasn't even Oprah. I'm sorry. She didn't go on Oprah. But about 7-8 years ago, Oprah and Michelle had a discussion. And a lot of people probably didn't catch it because we were still in the midst of their guys. You feel me? We was in the midst of their guys. And they weren't really talking about much because Obama had basically worked his way through the whole pregnancy. He was almost up out of here at this time. It was like in the summer, I believe, right before the election in 2016. And, you know, they was working the black girl magic strong back then. It's all good, Free. That lets me know you with me. That lets me know you're with me on this. You in the vein. So what happened was Michelle and Oprah, they had become good friends by now because they've been in office 8 years. They've been doing their thing. They've been doing their thing. Oprah had been around the White House and they had went on the Oprah shows and, you know, been doing their thing. They were literally black celebrity by then. They weren't just the first couple. They were black celebrities by then. Yes, she is something else. And after you see this clip, you might have seen it already. Some of y'all might have seen it back 7, 8 years ago and forgot about it. And if you did, I'm going to make you remember about it. If you ain't never seen it, I'm going to make you want to forget about it. So this situation here is so painful. It's so painful because when you think about the good that they could have did with this, it all worked to the other way. Because when we talk about what Barack was doing, Barack was out there doing his thing, berating young graduates at Morehouse. Barack was out there doing his thing, making sure that he could throw shade at every brother that was trying to come up. I mean, he had his My Brother's Keepers. Why couldn't he just be happy with that? I mean, they weren't making rap albums yet, and I understood that. But he had his legacy intact. Why did he have to start beating up on the graduates of Morehouse and all other young black boys? Because you ever notice Barack don't beat up on no brown boys. He only beats up on black boys. He don't talk shit to no brown boys. He talks shit to black boys. So that's the problem that I have with Barack. But we ain't talking about Barack no more. We talking about Barack's wife, Southside Shelley. And we talking about Okra. Yeah. Okra. Winfrey. This right here, we're going to have to get close to shutting it down because I ain't going to be able to do much more once every time I listen to this, I'm hot like fire. Gotta tell you, I'm hot like fire.
Cool man out here. I love the president.
Let's give it up for the brothers.
There's a lot of cool men out here.
For the men out here.
I love the president's speech saying you're looking at a feminist. What can men do leaving here? Be better.
Be better. That's what she had for us. What can men do out here? That's what she was looking for, something profound. She was looking for something deep. And she said, what can men do out here? And what did Michelle give her? Yeah, she gave her something profound. She gave her something deep. She said, be better. Well, if it makes you hot like fire, I know I'm going to boil the hell over. Yeah, think about it. She said, be better. I mean, really? That's all we could get out of that? Be better. But no, there's more. There's more.
Be better at everything.
At everything. At everything.
Be better fathers. Good Lord, just being good fathers who love your daughters and are providing a solid example of what it means to be a good man in the world, and showing them what it feels like to be loved. That is the greatest gift that the men in my life gave to me. And we've talked about this.
Yes.
The fact that I've never experienced abuse at the hands of any man in my life. And that's sad to say that that's a rare reality. So men can be better at that.
She sat up there with a straight face. She sat up there with a straight face and said that it's a rare thing for black men to not be abusers. That's what she said. That's what she said. I wonder what her daddy was doing when she said this.
But any man in my life, and that's sad to say that that's a rare reality. So men can be better at that.
Really? Really? That's literally what she feels about black men, and she's married to a black man. And you look at Oprah, how intently she's looking at her. Because Oprah ain't never had nothing to say positive about black men, Stedman included. Love your daughters. What about loving your sons? Now, that was for Barack. That was for Barack, Free. He's our brother's keeper. She's our sister's keeper. And being our sister's keeper, she just can't keep it on talking about the sisters. She got to come across the table and slap the men in the mouth too. And tell men to be better. What's good? Be the power. I had to bring Barry O and Southside Shelley out today. Be the power. Y'all done talked on them a lot before. But I had to go another route with it because we got this My Brother's Keeper thing on a local end too. But I had to talk about it where it started with me with My Brother's Keeper, because everybody's My Brother's Keeper ain't My Brother's Keeper. So where we at right now is we talking about Southside Shelley and Okra telling men to be better. And we're going to finish this clip. And then I'm going to go from the national My Brother's Keeper to the local My Brother's Keeper.
Men can be better husbands, which is be a part of your family's life. Do the dishes, don't babysit your children. You don't babysit your own children. Be engaged. Don't just think going to work and coming home makes you a man. Being a father, being engaged, all that stuff is important.
You see how hard it is just to get through 2 minutes and 17 seconds of this heifer? 2 minutes and 17 seconds, that's all they had on this one. And I can't get through it because she done said so many fundamentally and factually wrong situations here. Now we don't do dishes in the house. I did them this morning. Did them yesterday. Now we don't talk to our kids. I just told you a few minutes ago. I stopped my phone conversation last night to stop my daughter in her tracks as she walked in the house, broken down from a 10-hour work shift, to ask her how the job was, what she learned, what she get, what she earned. But no, we ain't no daddies out here. We just babysitting kids. I'm on it. I just don't understand when they talking about them, Why they got to start talking about us? Every day, all day. We ain't never babysat our kids. We take care of our kids. We raise our kids. She's talking about a very small percentage of people who might say, yeah, I got to babysit my kids. That's generally a young, ignorant individual who doesn't understand as a daddy, you can't be a babysitter. You are no longer able to babysit your kids as a daddy. Now, whether you verbalize that or not, you are fundamentally and factually off when you say, I got to babysit my kids. And here she gonna bring up a negative trope like that. Look at the backdrop, y'all. The backdrop is the White House. So this just ain't on BET. This just ain't on Oprah's network. Well, it used to be Oprah's network till she had to sell out and get the hell out. This right here was on ABC, and look at the backdrop. It's the White House with two white women on the screen. They just got tans, that's all.
Be a better employer. You know, when you are sitting at a seat of power at a table of any kind, and you look around and you just see you, it's just you and a bunch of men around it.
See, now she's talking about white men. Now she's talking about white men. Because we don't have that many captains of industry on here to really be able to push this narrative. She done went from black men to talking about raising our kids and babysitting our kids and doing the dishes and this, that, and now she's talking about white men. And do you think white men are looking at this? Think about it. Do you think white men are looking at this? White men ain't looking at this. Y'all wonder why I got the problems I got. Y'all wonder why I say the things that I say. Y'all wonder why I say stuff like,
Negroes, do your duty.
Because these Negroes ain't doing their duty. Oprah was in place for 30 years, didn't do her duty. Shelley was in place for 8 years, didn't do her duty. Just do your job, man. Once you get in play, do your job. And your job ain't to berate black men. But I'm going to let her go ahead and finish berating white men, and then we're going to move to the next segment, which will be our exiting segment.
Table on a golf course making deals, and you allow that to happen, and you're okay with that, be better.
Be better.
Be better.
Be better. I love that.
Just be better. I could
You know
go
what?
on.
Since they want to laugh, let's just input another laugh that everybody knows.
Slow down, everybody. No. Can I get a witness?
They cackling. They cackling. Kamala's cackling. Everybody's cackling. You know who they laughing at? They laughing at black men. That's who they laughing at. She said all that little slick stuff about CEOs and making deals on golf courses. Yeah, that was throwing some shade at some white men. That's what I want to know, Mahogany. What's so funny? What's so damn funny?
Slow down, everybody. No. Can I get a witness?
Now y'all see why I had to do what I had to do today. Appreciate the likes. If you got the capability, give me a thumbs up. Let's move that algorithm a bit. This needs to be seen and heard far and wide. My brother's keeper. My sister's keeper. Because all they doing now is selling books and doing podcasts and riding around with Richard Branson on his submarine, sipping mint julep on Martha's Vineyard. They duped us, y'all. They duped us. And ain't nobody saying nothing no more. Nothing. So, we know what's in play because we've already talked about it. We've already talked about it. My brother's keeper. And what I want to do is I want to show something else about my brother's keeper. Okay? I want to show something else about my brother's keeper. Yeah, I'm going to accept the cookie there. So people can understand when I dig, I don't use a shovel. Okay? Long as y'all know that. When I dig, I don't use a shovel. So let me blow this on up so y'all can see what I'm seeing. You say that laugh was what? Yeah. I don't know if it was Michelle's or Okra's or Mamala's. But here's the thing right here. This is why I'm where I'm at today. That My Brother's Keeper Alliance, the MBK, My Brother's Keeper Alliance leads a cross-sector national call to action focused on building safe and supportive communities for boys and young men of color. Yeah. Yeah. Nice website, right? They doing the work. They doing the work. Uh-oh, what's that? My Brother's Keeper Alliance, the MBK Alliance, recognizes the importance of creating safe spaces for the LGBT youth. This Pride Month and all year round, we encourage you to commit to doing what it takes to create more equitable future for the LGBTQ plus community, one where every person feels safe and valued. Okay. Now, they never said anything about any of the stuff, about any of the videos about the LGBTQ community, which I would have felt would have been appropriate, because I can guarantee you in that recording studio, there was definitely a couple kids, youngins, let's say, in there that were LGBTQ youth. Because they've been on other situations where Barack Obama has been on. But they didn't bring that up. They bring it up on the site here, but they didn't bring that up for CBS. This is MBK Ohio. MBK Ohio congratulates, the Urban League of Greater Cleveland, President and CEO Marsha Maccabee, and her entire team for kicking off the official relaunch of MBK Greater Cleveland at last week's annual meeting. The relaunch? Why y'all relaunching anything? Y'all ain't been moving? We're excited for all that we have in store for this year and years to come. A relaunch. Why'd they need a relaunch? Why'd they stop working? How come they ain't been working all this time? Thing's 9 years old. They should be on cruise control. All these questions I'm asking right now are rhetorical. My Brother's Keeper Newark, which was recently named the MBK Model Community, has a vision that in their community, boys and young men of color will lead in identifying and solving community challenges rather than being seen as a problem to be solved. Remember the Newark one back in 18. This is May of 23. No more updates since May on the website. We see how progressive it is. There's June. That was May. So let's go on back up here. And let's find, bam, support MBK communities. So what I'm looking for here, I need to try to get to the list of MBK branches. Let me find that. MBK model communities. No, we don't want model. Join the network of communities. Is that it? Register today. No, that's not it. MBK network. No. I don't know why they're making this so difficult to do. Here we go. Let me just go to the menu. My Brother's Keeper Alliance. We're already there. Network. Let's see. Existing communities. Bam. So let's go on down. You see where they at? They're everywhere. There's the Okibidehea, wherever that's at. Nasua, wherever that's at. Chicago, Youngstown, Winston-Salem, West Palm Beach County, Wayne County. Oh, that's right up the street. Washtenaw County. I'm sitting in Washtenaw County. Let's click that one, shall we? MBK Washtenaw County. Now, anybody looking at this right now that's in Washtenaw County, you might want to turn away. You might want to put the mute button on. But then again, you might not. Contact. Who that? Huh? Who that? Tabitha Bentley. I know that's the correct phone number. I know that's the correct extension. I know that's the correct email address, but that is not the person who heads the WMBK in Washtenaw County. They need to do a little updating on the website. MBK Washtenaw County accepted the MBK Community Challenge to improve the lives of boys and young men of color in 2015. That's 8 years ago, folks. MBK Washtenaw is a countywide collective empowerment collaborative that seeks to change narratives, practices, and policies using tools like multi-institutional partnerships, empowerment programming, mentorship, and community-based advocacy. Their goal is for boys and young men of color to thrive and have full access to support for educational and economic opportunities, receive support and care from an intergenerational community of men of color, and be positively acknowledged by the community. MBK Washtenaw County is focused on 2 MBK milestones, 3 and 5. I have no idea what that is. So that was 2015. Okay. That was 2015. Okay. I mean, you know, that was 2015, y'all. That was when they started. Maybe that's who was in charge back then. I don't know. Because that's not who's in charge right now. The person I know, his name is not Tabitha. And I'm not sure why a woman would be in charge of My Brother's Keeper anyway. Why wouldn't it be a man? Why wouldn't it be a man? to be in charge of my brother's keeper. Much respect to Tabitha, whoever she may be. But the person I know to be leading Washtenaw County's My Brother's Keeper's name is Jamal. And I ain't got nothing bad to say about Jamal, because I know Jamal out here trying to do real work. I think they gave Jamal the position because he's got his another thing called the Clear Academy. And maybe they're trying to shoehorn that in with the WMBK, but really the Clear Academy is doing work and the WMBK is doing nothing. Well, I can't say doing nothing. They are making rap albums. Oh, and I digress. They're not only making rap albums, they feeding folks. Yeah, they feeding folks. 11/5/23, they feeding folks. Called by the elders, WMBK's annual dinner gala celebration. Maybe that's what all that suit fitting was for. They've been fitting young guys with suits and stuff around here lately, and it looks like they're going to be saluting some brothers. I personally don't know Daryl Johnson, but I'm sure he's done some work around here. The person on the left I know has done real work. Bonnie Billups is a pillar of the community. He's been around a lot longer than most people been around. Executive director of the Peace Neighborhood Center. He got the drip from Rose Martin. Everybody remembers Rose. If you're in Washtenaw County, join us as we convene our beloved community to recognize our elders. Ain't nothing wrong with recognizing the elders. Ain't nothing wrong with it. You ain't gonna never hear me say nothing wrong about recognizing the elders. Much respect to Brother Bonnie, Brother Daryl, and the remarkable young men of WMBK celebrating our achievements and embracing the promise of our future. Sunday, November 5th, Eastern Michigan University at the Student Center Grand Ballroom. Hey, they gonna do it up, y'all. Ypsilanti, Michigan, 48197. This is gonna be a shindig, a soiree. And it also looks like it's gonna be kind of pricey. Early bird ticket prices through October 6th, which has passed, was going for $45. $45. And tables for $360. Damn. Y'all bad as the NAACP. This sounds like the NAACP Freedom Fund dinner. Now the tickets done went up to $55. And the tables are now $440. What y'all serving? Y'all must gonna have all you can eat crab legs or something like that. Y'all gonna have all you can eat crab legs? All you can eat surf and turf? $55 a head? $440 a table? To reserve a table, contact Danita Fuller Prince at dfullerprince@washtenaw.county.isd.org. For event inquiries, contact, what's that name say down there? Jamal. Yeah, that's who runs WMBK Washtenaw, not Tabitha. I don't know who Tabitha is. So yeah, they putting on a shindig for the elders on the 5th. If you can afford to go, hit them up with that 55, or if you want to buy a whole table and ball out at 440, do your thing. It's a call by the elders. I hope the elders ain't on a fixed income, because they ain't going to be able to afford that $55. $440 for a table? How many people can you put at a table? This is crazy. Black folks gonna eat, though. Black folks gonna eat. I don't know how many black folks gonna eat. And just so y'all understand, I've already turned down 2 invitations. Yeah. I was invited to go. Real talk. By 2 Caucasian people. Because they buying tables. Because they got that bread to buy the table. I think it's time for Dick. Yeah, I was invited. You know it, BTP. The men of color. The boys of color. The people of color. Black and brown. Yeah, they're going to feed folks out there. $55 a head. I had to respectfully decline. I've got a previous engagement on the 5th. I won't be able to attend. I appreciated the invite. I surely did. I absolutely showed my gratitude to the inviters as an invitee. But I got something going on the 5th that day. But I hope y'all enjoy yourselves at the Called by the Elders dinner. And salute Bonnie. Bonnie deserves it, goddammit. Bonnie been doing this thing a long time, since I was a kid. Salute Brother Daryl. Like I said, I don't know his work, but I bet you he done put in work. He's an elder, and he's still in play. I know the Mentor to Youth program. I just don't know Brother Daryl. But if I ever make his acquaintance, I'll be sure to extend my hand and thank him for his service. And salute him as an elder out here doing the work in the community. Because I got my ear to the sky. I ain't putting my ear on the ground. Not because I don't need to know what the streets are saying, because the streets are always talking. I just know what's been on that damn ground. Y'all be good. One love.
Slow down, everybody. Can I get a witness? Something that's only going to benefit black people? No. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.
And your ass is next. Your ass is next.
All right.